it was a common thing at that time as far as making it. And it really wasn't frowned upon. It was a way to pay the mortgage, really, on the farms. It was an accepted thing. In 1952, I started officing with this individual from the ATF, Alcohol and Tobacco and Firearms. And he had that position in the late 20s and the 30s. Now, I think Prohibition ended in about 33 or 34 when FDR came into office. But it still was a common thing to make this booze and to transport, I suppose, to evade the taxes on it. That's to the manufacture and the sale and distribution of it. But he had 100 stories, he told me, and I did not put a single one down. Darn it.
Do you remember his name? Can you tell me his name? Or?
His name is J.A. Leary, L-E-A-R-Y, John Leary, and he went by the name of Teck, T-E-C-K. I think it came from serving in the First World War.
Okay.
Right. And he said he spent almost all of his time in Carroll County. And he said most of the information as to finding bootleggers that came from stool pigeons. He called them stoolies. And he said every town had a stoolie. And he said it was unknown as far as common knowledge, but the ATF guys had a stoolie in every single town. But
people, they would just pay?
They were paid, absolutely. They were paid to turn in information on John Jones, who was out in the country making the whiskey. But he had stories. They'd sit in fields for hours at night waiting for people to come home, and signs of bootlegging. But he talked about stills in straw stacks and stills in hog houses, false floors in buildings. I think the funniest story he ever told me, there was a family in the Arcadia area, and he was sure that they were storing this whiskey, and they built an addition onto their house. And the Prohibition agents, which he was one of them, was sure that the addition to the house was strictly to store the whiskey. And there's a basement and everything under it. So the ATF agents had a warrant, had a search warrant to enter the house. And they had this bedroom, the occupants of the house had this bedroom in this new addition, which had a trap door, they were sure, under the bed. And they came in the house, and the lady of the house had a heart attack, or she had a fake heart attack. And she laid on the bed and moaned and everything else. And the ATF agents did not think she was having a heart attack, which of course was true, you know, she wasn't. And they said to call the doctor. So they called the doctor, and the doctor, who was, what should I say, he was from the area, he said, well, it's possible she's having a heart attack. So they called the local priest, and the local priest came out, and she's lying in bed, and they're going to give her the final sacraments of the church. Are you a Catholic?
I'm not, but... Okay,
it's extreme unction, they call it. It's the last rites before you die. So the priest came, and he gave a candle to these 3 ATF agents. So the 3 ATF agents had to stand on the sides of the bed as this priest was administering this last sacrament to this lady. And all the time this trap door, or this door to the storage area, was under the bed. And they never did get there. That's one of the funniest stories he told.
That's good.